Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Did your parents impart any wisdom to you regarding life, money, and choosing a career? Were you advised to go to school, work hard, and secure a good job? Chances are they did. Surprisingly, that advice isn't necessarily the best, even though it's what most parents and teachers advocate. Speaking of school, what did you actually learn about making money during your time there? If it was anything like what most schools offer, the answer is probably nothing at all. But don't worry, you're not alone in this experience. The majority of us were never taught the essential knowledge required to become and remain wealthy. However, such information does exist. It's passed down through generations in affluent families. The question is, how can you gain access to it? Hello! In the next 20 minutes or so, I will guide you through Kiyosaki's most captivating anecdotes and valuable lessons about money. Number 1. Rich individuals don't rely on employment for financial success. Before delving into the renowned financial lessons, let's delve into the story of a 9-year-old Robert Kiyosaki. The tale takes place in the 1950s when Robert and his friend Mike were inquisitive boys with lofty aspirations. They harbored a desire to become wealthy and amass a substantial amount of money in their adulthood. However, they lacked a clear plan of action. After an unsuccessful endeavor to extract coins from melted toothpaste tubes, the boys sought advice from their respective fathers on how to embark on their journey to riches. It's not difficult to guess the response from Robert's well-educated yet financially struggling father. He advised, "Go to school, study hard, and secure a good job." This advice may sound familiar, but it is fundamentally flawed. By following such guidance, one will spend their entire life toiling tirelessly to increase their income, while the majority of the rewards are claimed by others, the government, bill collectors, and employers. In other words, Robert's financially struggling father might as well have said, "Join the rat race, a monotonous cycle of working for everyone except yourself." Many individuals still adhere to this mantra, primarily driven by fear and a profound unease at the thought of deviating from societal expectations. We are told that a good job leads to wealth, so we strive diligently in our childhood and work even harder as adults. The outcome? We may avoid poverty, but we certainly do not accumulate wealth. However, there exist individuals who do not impart this mindset to their children. People who comprehend the principles of creating, increasing, and maintaining money. We're referring to affluent individuals, such as Mike's father, who became a financial mentor to both boys. So, what did Mike's father propose? Initially, nothing. He struck a deal with young Kiyosaki, offering to share his knowledge about money if the boy agreed to work for him at the meager rate of 10 cents per hour. Robert consented, but after a few weeks of being underpaid, he returned to his rich father, seething with anger and ready to quit. "You have taken advantage of me for far too long," he exclaimed, "and you haven't fulfilled your promise. I've learned nothing about money during all these weeks." Yet, there it was, his first lesson, delivered by his new mentor with a faint smile. Robert Kiyosaki had just learned that life often pushes you around, and he had discovered that working for money does not lead to wealth. This realization underscores the fact that rich individuals don't rely on employment for financial success. So you might wonder, if the rich don't work for money, how do they accumulate wealth? Is it through illicit means or by winning the lottery? Number 2, gain financial knowledge, recognize genuine assets, and invest in them. Now let's address the question raised in the previous point. No. None of the options mentioned earlier are correct. The path to wealth for the affluent lies in making their money work for them. Instead of squandering all their income on frivolous expenses and luxuries, they allocate a portion of it towards acquiring various types of assets. Rather than laboring for money, they allow their assets to generate income on their behalf. However, let's not get ahead of ourselves. When we last left off, Robert was still a young boy, unfamiliar with the term asset. But Mike's father, the rich dad, was about to change that. One day, he gathered the boys and explained that the rich invest in assets while those with fewer resources tend to accumulate liabilities, often mistakenly believing that they are acquiring assets. He clarified that an asset is anything that adds money to your pocket, whereas a liability is something that takes money away. This distinction holds immense significance, yet only a few people truly grasp it. Let's consider an example. A house is often regarded as an asset, right? In reality, it can be one of the largest liabilities a person can have. Purchasing a house often entails dedicating an entire lifetime to paying off a 30-year mortgage and property taxes, resulting in a drain on your finances. A mortgaged house works against you in two ways. Firstly, it guarantees a substantial expense deducted from your income every month for the next 360 months, clearly indicating it as a liability. Secondly, those 360 payments could have been invested in far more lucrative assets that generate income for you. The rich dad simplified the lesson for the two boys, stating, "If you want to be wealthy, all you need to do is identify genuine assets and acquire them. However, if you spend your life accumulating liabilities, you'll never achieve financial prosperity." The rich dad explained that individuals with limited financial means allocate their salary towards immediate expenses, such as rent, taxes, and food. The middle-class individuals face similar expenses along with liabilities like mortgages, student loans, credit cards, and other forms of debt. On the other hand, rich individuals don't rely on a salary to cover their expenses. Their assets generate enough income to sustain their lifestyle and often provide surplus funds for reinvestment, such as stocks, bonds, or rental properties. The reinvestment leads to an increase in their income, allowing the wealthy to keep growing their wealth. This point is crucial, so it bears repeating. By keeping your liabilities and expenses low, you can allocate the remaining funds towards acquiring assets and let your money work for you. By following this approach, you will gradually accumulate a substantial fortune. Number 3, focus on your own financial affairs. Earn money for yourself, not just for your employer. At this point, you may have some objections. It's easy to criticize secure but monotonous jobs and encourage people to acquire assets. But how can you afford to buy those assets if you don't have a job to begin with? Will money magically appear out of thin air? Absolutely not. Nobody is suggesting that you quit your current job, at least not yet. However, in his third lesson, Kiyosaki emphasizes the importance of minding your own business. Now, minding your own business doesn't mean meddling in other people's affairs, not in this context. It simply means taking charge of your own finances and generating income for yourself, not solely relying on your employer. In other words, minding your own business involves making money through your portfolio of assets, rather than relying solely on promotions, bonuses, and salary raises. When it comes to personal finances, there's a distinction between your profession and your business. Your profession is the work you do for 40 hours a week to pay bills, buy groceries, and cover living expenses. It often comes with a specific title like restaurant owner or sales manager. On the other hand, your business refers to the investments of your time and money that contribute to the growth of your assets. So, how does Robert's journey toward financial success align with this concept? Well, when he was young, his poor dad advised him to focus on finding a secure, well-paying job. However, his rich dad encouraged him to start acquiring assets. Can you guess whose advice he followed? That's right, rich dads. At the age of 9, Robert opened his first business, renting comic books to kids in the neighborhood, where others did the work and he collected the money. As he grew older, he still held a day job. In fact, he invested long hours working for large companies such as Xerox and Standard Oil of California. However, he consistently kept his expenses and liabilities low, invested the remaining portion of his salary, and built a substantial portfolio of income-generating assets. That's how Kiyosaki learned to mind his own business. Yes, he had a job, but what truly made him wealthy was the growth of his assets. He treated his assets as his own employees. Every dollar he invested in assets worked for him, generating income even while he slept. It's quite an appealing concept, isn't it? If you aspire to become rich, adopt the same mindset. Your salary alone is unlikely to make you truly wealthy, even with promotions and bonuses. However, your salary can assist you in acquiring the assets that will lead to your enrichment. The lesson here is to distinguish between your profession and your business, as only one of them will pave the path to wealth. You know which one it is. Number 4, through comprehension of the tax code and legal system, wealthy individuals stay ahead of the mechanisms intended to restrict them. During Robert's time in school, one story he particularly enjoyed was the tale of Robin Hood and his band of merry men, traveling outlaws who stole from the rich to give to the poor. It captivated him with its excitement, but his rich dad held a different perspective. To him, Robin Hood seemed like a criminal. You see, Robert's rich dad believed that the Robin Hood fantasy had influenced the tax system he despised. Just as Robin Hood took money from the wealthy and distributed it to those in need, the government attempted to do the same. However, as Rich Dad explained, they didn't actually succeed. In Rich Dad's view, it was the middle class that bore the brunt of taxation, not the wealthy. The rich were far too astute and well prepared for that, utilizing sophisticated strategies to evade taxes. One such strategy employed by the affluent is the use of corporations to protect their wealth from taxes. After all, a corporation can spend its income before taxes and is only taxed on what remains after expenses. On the contrary, individuals are taxed first, and then they are allowed to spend what's left. This distinction is crucial. Just imagine being taxed only on the portion of your salary that you don't spend. By employing corporations to shield their assets, the rich can circumvent paying taxes in the same way the middle class and the poor do. However, the benefits of a corporation for the wealthy extend beyond tax avoidance. When establishing a corporation, it limits the extent of personal financial loss in the event of business failure. Consider this. If an individual defaults on a loan, they may need to sell their possessions, declare bankruptcy, and comply with other legal requirements. On the other hand, if a corporation fails and cannot repay its debts, the owners simply lose their investment. No one comes to seize their personal belongings or reclaim their homes. Corporations allow the rich to reap substantial financial rewards without facing comparable risks. So, what is the lesson to be learned here? It is this. By comprehending the intricacies of the tax code and the legal system, wealthy individuals stay one step ahead of the mechanisms designed to restrain them. Number 5, the majority of us lack a formal financial education. Now let's return to the story of Robert Kiyosaki. When Robert and Mike were young, Rich Dad took them under his wing and granted them full access to his private business dealings. They sat in on meetings with bankers, attorneys, and accountants, gaining insights into what it takes to be a successful business owner. As a result, the boys learned a great deal, and they learned it quickly. However, they soon encountered a problem. The skills they were acquiring from Rich Dad made it challenging for them to prioritize their school education. Repetitively, they were told that studying hard and working diligently naturally lead to success and wealth. The notion that financial literacy is equally important seemed to escape everyone except Rich Dad. Children are not taught about essential subjects such as saving or investing, leaving them clueless about topics like compound interest. This is evident in the fact that even high school students nowadays often find themselves maxing out their credit cards. This lack of financial intelligence training poses a problem not only for today's youth, but also for highly educated adults, many of whom make poor financial decisions. Consider this. A significant number of people have no retirement plan. In the United States, 50% of the workforce lacks pensions, and among those who do have them, nearly 75 to 80% have inadequate pensions. Clearly, society has failed to equip us adequately with financial knowledge. However, one of Kiyosaki's crucial lessons is to become financially literate. So what should you do? Take charge of your own education. Start educating yourself and develop a financial strategy. Number 6, obtain a financial education by following a 3-step process. Evaluate your current situation, establish financial goals, and develop the financial intelligence to achieve them. Embarking on the journey towards personal wealth can commence at any stage of life, but the earlier you start, the better. Naturally, beginning at the age of 20 provides a higher likelihood of attaining riches compared to starting at 30. Regardless of your age, the most effective way to initiate this journey is by following these 3 steps. First, conduct a thorough assessment of your financial state. Consider your present job and realistically project your income both now and in the future. Determine the level of expenses you can reasonably manage. It may become apparent that the luxurious Mercedes you've been longing for is presently beyond your financial means. Remember to be honest and avoid considering money you do not possess. Once the evaluation is complete, you can set practical financial goals. For instance, you may aim to make the Mercedes attainable within the next 5 years. Robert Kiyosaki's wife, Kim, patiently waited for 4 years and eventually purchased her Mercedes using earnings generated from their apartment buildings. The next crucial step is to cultivate your financial intelligence. Consider this as an investment in your most valuable asset, your mind. Learn how to handle money effectively. For example, if you fear rejection, you could gain valuable sales skills and self-confidence by working briefly for a network marketing company. Although the salary may not be remarkable, the acquired skills will prove invaluable in the future. Additionally, you can enhance your financial education during your leisure time. Enroll in finance classes and seminars, delve into books on the subject, and seek opportunities to connect with experts. To recap, remember these steps. Evaluate your current situation, establish financial goals, and develop the necessary financial intelligence to achieve them. By constructing your financial foundation upon these building blocks, the likelihood of attaining wealth significantly increases. Who knows, one day you might proudly park that Mercedes in your garage. Number 7, financial acumen and bravery empower the wealthy to generate wealth in any situation. Now, let's delve into your mindset when it comes to financial matters. If you genuinely desire to change your current financial situation, you must begin approaching your finances differently. The most significant change you likely need to make is learning to embrace risk. In the real world, it's often not the intellectually gifted who surge ahead. It's bold and daring. Whether you call it chutzpah, guts, or audacity, having the courage to take risks is a common trait among the affluent. Why is that? Well, if you let fear control you, you will allow significant opportunities in life to slip away. This is precisely why those who are studious and intelligent often struggle financially. The fear of societal disapproval prevents them from breaking free from the rat race and achieving wealth. Additionally, their fear of losing money is so potent that it hinders them from investing in stocks or other assets. They fail to recognize that success always requires courage. Thus, financial acumen can be distilled into 2 essential components. Knowledge, of course, but also courage. It is these 2 factors that distinguish the wealthy from the rest. This is the essence of Lesson 5. Financial intelligence empowers the affluent to invent money in any situation. They possess the ability to identify opportunities, understand how to capitalize on them, and have the audacity to follow through. From an outsider's perspective, it may appear as if they are merely lucky, but in reality, they are creating their own fortune. By participating in Rich Dad's business meetings, Robert and Mike gained a lesson that traditional schooling could not teach them. In the real world, success hinges on bravery, not just hard work. When you combine courage with financial knowledge, you can swiftly recognize opportunities and maximize each one. In other words, you can practically invent money. Number 8, instead of playing it safe, consider investing your money in stocks, bonds, or tax-lion certificates. Let's delve deeper into the concept of risk. What does it truly mean? First and foremost, taking risks involves moving away from the safe and balanced approach of keeping your money in basic checking and savings accounts at the bank. Instead of playing it safe, explore the option of investing your money in stocks or bonds. While these investments are considered riskier than traditional bank accounts, they have the potential to generate significantly greater wealth. Sometimes, as in the case of stocks, this growth can occur within a relatively short period. Alternatively, if you're hesitant to venture into the stock market, there are various other investment opportunities that can contribute to long-term wealth growth. Consider options such as real estate or tax lien certificates. Tax lien certificates, for instance, offer interest rates ranging from 8% to 30%, which is much higher than the average savings account interest rate of 0.21% in America back in 2013. Of course, higher potential returns come with higher risks. For example, with stocks, there is always a slight chance of losing your entire investment. However, if you never take the initial risk, you are guaranteed to not achieve substantial returns. Therefore, it becomes evident that embracing these greater chances and managing the associated risks is necessary to start generating a higher income. This aligns with the mindset advocated by the rich dad. Number 9. Instead of solely working to earn money, prioritize working to learn. Up until now, we've gained insights into the importance of having your money work for you, developing financial intelligence, and embracing boldness. However, there is another crucial lesson to be learned from the rich dad. When Robert completed his college education, he swiftly secured a stable and well-paying job. For many individuals, this would have been a dream come true, and his educated but financially challenged father certainly viewed it that way. It was ingrained in the mindset of his poor dad that a secure career and persistent work were the only reliable paths to wealth. However, Rich Dad and Robert held a different perspective. After about 6 months, Robert made the decision to resign from his job and join the Marine Corps to pursue his passion for flying. This bewildered his poor dad, but Rich Dad offered his congratulations. Why did Rich Dad support Robert's unconventional choice? Not because he endorsed recklessness, but because he understood the underlying motivation. Robert wasn't simply seeking a steady salary. He was driven by a thirst for knowledge. He was actively seeking work that had valuable lessons to offer. Rich Dad had instilled in him the belief that having a breadth of knowledge across various domains was crucial for anyone aspiring to build wealth. That's why Robert was focused on working to learn rather than solely working to earn. After all, the purpose of earning money was to utilize it to generate wealth through strategic assets. This concept was perplexing to his poor dad. In his perspective, Robert's actions contradicted the conventional wisdom of how people make money. Poor Dad, an academic with an impressive educational background and a PhD, firmly believed that specialization, not a diverse range of skills and knowledge, led to financial success. In the academic realm, as you progress and accumulate more knowledge, the tendency is to narrow your area of focus. Similarly, many doctors choose to specialize in a specific field, such as orthopedics or pediatrics, immediately after graduating. While specialization may be beneficial for certain individuals, it didn't prove advantageous for poor Dad, whose PhD did little to enhance his earnings. On the contrary, Rich Dad, who never completed 8th grade, possessed a broad foundation of knowledge. That's why Rich Dad encouraged young Robert and Mike to gain experience in various departments of his business empire. Over time, they worked in restaurants, construction, sales, marketing, accounts, and reservations. The objective wasn't to find a single field in which they might spend their entire careers. Instead, it was about equipping them with a diverse set of skills and knowledge essential for building wealth. Hence, the 6th and final lesson is, don't solely work to earn money, prioritize working to learn, as it holds far greater significance. Final recap, and that concludes our journey, covering the 6 key lessons from Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Keep in mind that it was precisely this guidance that laid the foundation for Kiyosaki's current wealth, estimated at a net worth of $100 million. Has this piqued your interest once again? Excellent. Now let's quickly summarize. Lesson number 1 emphasized that the rich don't need to rely on working for money. If you remain trapped in the monotonous rat race throughout your life, someone else will reap the benefits, while your own financial growth remains stagnant. It's your boss who will truly see their wallet expand. So, what's the alternative? This brings us to lesson 2. Educate yourself about finances, recognize genuine assets, and invest in them. Follow the advice from the 3rd lesson. Maintain your day job, minimize expenses, and concurrently establish a side business to generate income for you. Rule number 4. Acquire a thorough understanding of the tax system, as the wealthy do. By doing so, they retain a greater portion of their earnings. The 5th rule asserts that daring and audacity are essential to making money. With the right mindset, you can seize life's opportunities and create wealth in almost any circumstance. Lastly, but certainly not least, is rule number 6. Work to learn and embrace a broad spectrum of knowledge. Leave specialization to PhD students and physicians. In conclusion, these lessons serve as a blueprint for financial success, as exemplified by Robert Kiyosaki's own journey. By applying these principles, you can forge your own path towards prosperity and unlock the potential to build substantial wealth. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey through the key lessons of Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We hope you found these insights valuable and empowering. If you enjoyed this episode and want to stay updated with our future content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Culminate podcast. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode where we explore more topics related to personal finance, wealth creation, and success strategies. We appreciate your support and would love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to leave a comment or reach out to us with any questions or suggestions for future episodes. Your feedback is important to us as we strive to provide you with valuable content that can help you on your own journey towards financial independence. Remember, financial education is a lifelong pursuit, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Together, let's cultivate a mindset of wealth and abundance. Thank you again for tuning in to the Culminate podcast. Until next time, stay motivated, keep learning, and continue to grow on your path to financial success.